In conjunction with the company, I fundraised for the American Cancer Society. They do the Real Men Wear Pink in October, so I wore a pink shirt all month long. It didn't waver. I had it Saturdays, Sundays. I wore pink, and I had a $2,500 goal. Ended up raising a little over $7,500, so about triple what my original goal was.
Welcome to Thought Talk, Positivity in Motion. Hosted by best-selling author, speaker, and coach C-Ray Collins.
Communication is still a very important key in making it positive is something that we don't do enough of.
C-Ray visits with members of our communities and leaders of local businesses on how they share a positive message during difficult and good times. And now, here's C-Ray.
Welcome to Thought Talk, Positivity in Motion, where we talk about everything positive. We visit with people in the community and talk about how they make an impact. And today I have a special guest is Corey Gill with Way Engineering. And Corey, I appreciate you being here today.
I appreciate you inviting me.
Yeah, so before we get into talking about Way Engineering, how about you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm Vice President, Director of Production at Way Engineering. I've been there for about 15 years now. I started a week after I graduated high school working there, and I've worked my way up from helper to executive over the years. I've got 3 kids. Oldest one's 10, youngest one's 1, so they keep me busy.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm an avid deer hunter. I deer hunt usually from start of season to end of season. You can find me there, and outside of that, I'm usually getting ready for the next deer season.
Deer season, yeah.
Got a wife at home that puts up with that too, and that's important.
So your kids in the sports yet? Your older ones?
My oldest son, he played baseball. He wants to do basketball this next go around. So he's
just wait till you get them all involved at one time. You can't. You just be running from field to court. You never have time to really even watch a game. That's kind of the way I got. I had 2 at almost same age, and I was standing between fields because they'd be playing on opposite fields to watch a ball game. So So Way Engineering, which is based out of Houston, Texas, but they're been around a long time, mechanical contractor. So matter of fact, been around for over 100 years. So tell us a little bit about Way's background or history, and also what all y'all do.
Okay, yeah. Way Engineering was founded in 1918 by the Way family, and they were one of the earliest air conditioning companies in Houston, and they were one of the largest mechanical contractors there for a long time. 2012, they were purchased by the McCorvey family, who owns it now. We're mostly in the commercial mechanical space. Probably our biggest vertical markets are healthcare, high-rise office buildings, data centers, and a little bit of hospitality, a lot more hospitality outside of Houston than in Houston. We've got 6 offices, Houston, Dallas, San Antonio. We've got an office in Orlando, Florida, and now an office in Raleigh, North Carolina as of last year. So we've been growing.
Yeah. Matter of fact, you work all over the United States, so I know you're a large company. You do plumbing and mechanical piping, equipment. You do design.
Yeah, we've got
as well.
Big service group.
And you do service, HVAC, and you also do BIM. And for people, our audience that don't know what BIM is, how about you explaining that to them?
I will. That's one of the departments I'm actually directly in charge of. So BIM is Building Information Modeling. It's a big thing in the construction industry right now. It's the way we build a building before we build a building. So all of the trades come together in a virtual space before the job, and we design and coordinate the entire building, all the parts and pieces in 3D and actual size and space on a computer before we build them in real life. And it's made it to where buildings can get smaller, buildings can be built faster, more economically, and a better product at the end of the day for the owner.
Yeah, it also gives you opportunity to look ahead if there's a problem with interferences or things of this nature. You get opportunity to look at it before you ever get there.
Correct. Yeah. Way Engineering is a fabricator. We have to BIM. We draw everything and we prefab everything. We've got 300,000 square feet of manufacturing space across the country. Most of that in Texas here, but we have to draw everything ahead of time so that we can fabricate, and being a fabricator pushes you into that BIM world a whole lot harder than it does if you're not.
So it's kind of virtual, like virtual reality. Like you put the goggles on and you're inside this room and all that. Well, that's exactly what BIM is they take this building that's designed, that's not built yet, and then you basically they put it on a computer program and you can actually see inside the rooms, inside the ceiling, under the floor. You can look at every aspect of this building that they're building before they ever come out of the ground with it. So it's quite remarkable, and I know you guys are good at it and been doing it for a while, so I know it's got to be a big plus for your business, and so I like that. So, talk about Wade being one of the largest contractors in the United States. I know you have won several construction excellent awards, such like your humanities building at Rice and your central plant for Harris County. Is there any award or any special project that's just particularly important to you?
Yeah, we actually recently in the Houston Business Journal, we were the 11th best company voted in the Houston Business Journal in this past cycle. So that was pretty neat for us. Coincidentally, on the same day, we got a ICE award and a merit award for a couple of projects in Houston, our University of Houston downtown STEM building, and another project up on the north side of town that we did. So we kind of had a little virtual watch party, everybody in the office.
Watch it too. So, you mentioned Houston, but you got projects going in Dallas and San Antonio. I mean, y'all work pretty well everywhere. So name a couple of projects that people would recognize, for example, Austin did American Airlines Center. So what's some of your major projects people would recognize?
Yeah, I'll try and do one in every city. In San Antonio, we recently did the Frost Tower. It's kind of a neat building for San Antonio. A lot of conventional architecture in San Antonio, and this is kind of a tall, all glass building. So it's kind of a new age building on the San Antonio skyline. So that's something in San Antonio that people would definitely recognize. And then we do a lot of base work there too. So
right.
A lot of people don't realize that there's 3 or 4 major military installations in San Antonio.
Yes,
here in Dallas, we just did the Hall Arts Hotel down in the Arts District. That's a really neat boutique type hotel and art gallery kind of mixed together. That was a project of note here. In Houston, we're doing a nice high rise right now, Block 58 Towers, a Heinz building, and we just did the Methodist Walter Tower, which is probably one of the biggest hospitals ever built in Houston. Definitely one of the biggest single mechanical contracts. It's a neat place. They've got some hybrid ORs and some really neat technology they brought into that building. Yeah. In Austin, we're working on the Capstone project, which is I think it's public now. So it's Austin's headquarters here in Texas that they're building. They're building a big campus similar to what they did in the Woodlands there with Exxon. They're building that right outside of Austin. We're working on that there. And North Carolina, we do a lot of university work in North Carolina. We're doing a couple of big Duke hospitals right now, Duke Regional Hospital in Durham and Duke Raleigh, another big hospital there in Raleigh, and High Point University. We're building there, or just got finished building their big new basketball arena there. So
cool. Yeah.
A couple of neat projects going on there.
Yeah. So we think about, you're doing all this work, and of course it's construction related, and of course, I think about the safety, which safety is a positive aspect of the business. And with this pandemic going on, and I know y'all try to keep everything positive with your customers and your employees, and so what have y'all done to try to keep everything on, a good positive attitude going through this pandemic with the extra safety precautions y'all have to take?
I think the biggest thing we did for our employees, at least, was we never shut our doors. Real early on, we formed a COVID task force, and we started kind of analyzing some of the information we were getting from media and government officials, what was happening, and tried to set real early policies on social distancing within the office, cleanliness. We set up a group that came around and cleaned every surface in the office. Throughout the day, all day long. They just rotated around cleaning door handles and wiping down counters. We limited interaction at our office almost to just the people that worked at the office. We were big adopters of video technology before COVID because we were so spread out across the United States. So all of our job sites have video conferencing technology. So we went real virtual on the meetings, and we would meet virtually from office to office instead of going to each person's office. We'd just video conference 3 or 4 doors down and have a quick meeting. So I think keeping the doors open was a big thing. A lot of people are hurting right now because they've been out of work, and we've been very fortunate to keep all of our employees working throughout the entire
Well,
thing.
employees see the effort y'all putting out to try to keep them safe. It makes them feel much better, more positive atmosphere, and that's a big key. Did y'all have to do any shift work?
We run 2 shifts at our office already, so it's tough to spread out over shifts, but we just tried to spread out. So we've got a lot of room. I said earlier, our manufacturing facility is about 250,000 square feet, so we just did our best to spread out and distance. We had very few cases. I'm going to knock on wood since it's not done. Within the offices, none of them serious, so we've been very fortunate throughout the entire thing.
So one of my other podcasts was talking to United Catering, which does food trucks and stuff. How did y'all manage your food trucks?
On site, I think a lot of the guys either slowed down or tried to do box lunches instead of preparing lunches. We actually cater lunch in on Fridays for all of our employees. We did that pre-COVID. We've done that since COVID and after. So we switched to the same thing, individually wrapped lunches, and to where it was, you had to open your own silverware, open your own food.
Well, that's what they said they finally had to do with their trucks. When somebody ordered food, they'd actually get a box of lunch and, closed-in box of lunch and hand it to them. So, so I know the pandemic's affected a lot of things, but the good thing is y'all were able to stay open. You were able to keep your employees working, and that's really positive. And speaking on the positive side, I like to highlight things that companies do for the communities. And I know y'all are very much involved. You want to talk about some of the things y'all do to give back to your community?
Yeah, actually, recently, this is me personally, but in conjunction with the company, I fundraised for the American Cancer Society. They do the Real Men Wear Pink in October, so I wore a pink shirt all month long. It didn't waver. I had it Saturdays, Sundays, I wore pink, and I had a $2,500 goal, ended up raising a little over $7,500, so about triple what my original goal was. But we also do a toy drive every year with the Houston Fire Department. We actually just started it, so we kind of do a little competition in the office. Every department brings toys, and whoever brings the most, whichever department brings the most toys gets Rockets tickets. So we do that every year, and it's a big turnout. I think we had somewhere between 300 and 400 toys donated last year. It's Operation Stocking Stuffer is what they call it. So that's a pretty neat deal with the fire department that we do.
Yeah. So, of course, I had a privilege back when I was still working in construction and work with Way Engineering and their parent company, McCorvey, and like I say, y'all joined the McCorvey family back in 2012, and so that just made y'all even that much bigger, actually, than what you are now, because Corvey was in HVAC and so forth. So is that relationship still going good? Is it working out well?
Oh, yeah. So, the McCorveys were a sheet metal only contractor, and they just saw their market share getting smaller as the other mechanical contractors were doing their own sheet metal. VRF technology was getting bigger, so they looked to the industry to either start their own or buy a mechanical contractor. The timing worked out with Way Engineering, so we've moved all of our operations over to where their headquarters were. They added on to their manufacturing facility, and in the sheet metal world, more so than the piping world, you have to prefab because you can't buy sheet metal. So McCorvey Sheet Metal has always had that prefabrication mindset, and they've been doing it for, many years, 30, 40 years. They've been big fabricators. So they took that same mentality and pushed it over into the piping world, and we've been able to see that it translates almost nut for bolt over to piping as well. Yeah. It's just a culture change, and it's been a great experience for everybody, I think.
Well, McCorvey, you talking about they've been fabricators. They fabricate for other
They
other
do, yeah.
contractors?
We actually fabricate sheet metal for, through Duct which is another one of our companies, and ship it all over the world. So people that don't have access locally to sheet metal manufacturing, they can draw it themselves, or we can draw it for them, then give us a concept, and we'll build their duct and ship it on a ship out to a different country if need be. We're doing some work in the Bahamas right now, even through Duct Direct.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so that's pretty neat, yeah, so, we talk about, the good things that your company does in the community, and talk about what positive aspects you do for your employees. How many employees do you have?
Just north of 1,500 employees throughout the entire organization.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a pretty good sized workforce, so
Yep.
that means a lot. So, before we close out today, you got anything you want to add or talk about with the company here?
Yeah, actually, it was just a few days ago, and I hope I get it exactly right, that I saw a quote. It was a positivity quote, and it made a lot of sense. It was Colin Powell is the one that said it, and he said, "Perpetual optimism is a force multiplier." And I thought that was so great, because it's really hard to lead a department as a pessimist.
Absolutely.
Your vibes will resonate throughout your entire department. So for every leader, I think optimism is a huge part of a successful operation. And so when I read that quote, I thought, man, that's a perfect thing to talk about. I wrote it down hoping I'd remember it forever. And I think that a lot of people could definitely hear that and take it into their own practices. The more of a optimistic outlook you have, the more of an optimistic outlook your people have, and especially in times like right now, people need hope. They need optimism. So I could definitely leave it with that.
Yeah, and positivity starts with you.
That's right.
And the one thing I talk about in my book is how to start your day out positive. From the time you get up in the morning till you walk out the door, you already mindset yourself that you're positive. And of course, you share that with somebody else, and they share it with somebody else, and the first thing you know, your whole atmosphere is positive. And then, of course, that makes everything more productive, and everybody makes more money. So it's very important. So, Corey, I appreciate you being here today. Maybe we can do this again in the future. And everybody out there, do something positive and have a great day. Thanks.